Just a little bit of a roll on the shoulders, a bit of a shake if you've been kind of a bit static recently, last hour or so. Think about the pelvis, so tuck the pelvis under. Think about getting nice and tall, length at the back of the neck, crown of head going up to the ceiling. So we'll go to the 10-second holds. So find the pelvic floor, find the TVA, pull in 100%. So do take a bit of a squeeze. It almost makes you hold your breath or takes your breath away. So do go for that little bit extra just to wake up the core muscles. Now that might be enough just to focus on that. If you want anything more, maybe just a little bit of tapping. And this could be anywhere that you just feel just needs a little bit of highlighting. So I'm going for rib cage, chest. I mean, you could maybe go up more to the collarbones and throat if you're maybe just feel a bit depleted, if you've been talking loads. If you feel a bit kind of clouded in your head or your mind, you can do the tapping on your head. You can go, if you're tired in your legs, you can tap on your legs. So I would just think about you and think about what you kind of feel like you need. And yeah, okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then slow release the core. Just let yourself relax a little bit. Maybe take a deep breath and then we go again. Pelvic floor, TVA. Bit of a squeeze, almost like the point where you're just like, or like you're really putting on something tight. Then again, tapping, if you want to put the tapping in. Again, anywhere you just feel it needs highlighting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then the slow release on the core. Again, just a little bit of a easy breath. And then we'll go last time. Pulling in, pelvic floor, pelvis is tucked under, TVA, big squeeze. You're waking up those core muscles. Also pulling in, there's 2 chakras here. So when we pull in and then release, it kind of gets those chakras reset, balanced. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Slow release those core muscles to 50%. So not so much that it's taking all of your concentration. And just go for a 1-arm circle. Try and start with, just do 4. Try and keep the shoulders facing forwards, the pelvis facing forwards. So we're just kind of isolating the arm. Then once you've done 4, then start moving. So almost like you're a puppet and someone's got the string and they're doing a big circle on your arm. They're holding your fingertips and you can go all the way down. Your whole body can move with this. So look up, look back, look down. Your chin goes down. You can go right down to the floor. It's almost like an idea of dance. You know, you're thinking about, you can come in when the shoulders go down and then open up. It's quite nice on the chest really, so you can just really go for it. 4 of them, and then to the other side. Now you might have noticed I'm circling backwards just because this helps open the chest. You could do 2 forward, 2 back, 2 forwards. No, there's no set rule on that. And then you do 4 of the really big kind of moving ones. Bend the knees. You can move around in the hips. Just, there's no rules. Just totally move around. Let the body go. It's almost like bowling. I haven't done bowling in ages. Come back to centre then. I'm going to start with the side bend. Again, with control, just go for 4. Slide the hand down, keep the hips still, the pelvis tucked under. Still got that 50% pull in the core. And then just go loose again. So then kind of you can take the arm up and over. Thinking again a bit more like dance. You can bend a knee as you go over so you can really let the side bend kind of get longer and over more. Just go for 8 of those, just a little bit more. Maybe look up, spiral chest to ceiling. Just allowing the body to release and move a little bit. Coming to centre then, we'll go to the squats. So feet hip width apart. Check the feet are parallel. Sometimes we come into position and the feet might have turned out a little bit. A little bit of engagement underneath the arches of the feet. Bend the knees, hips back into space. Again, start with a little bit of control and precision just whilst we're warming up. Use again the core, 50% pulled in. Eye gaze forwards. Shoulders relaxed. So when you come down into squat, when you look, you should have your shoulders just over your knees and your knees just over your big toes. Then we can add in, so we could go down, and then we can lift up onto the toes, and then come down. Now, as low as you like, so you could come down onto your toes. It's up to you. Again, just testing kind of your edges. Breathing in as you lift up and over, and you don't have to stay at my pace. So tie it in with your breath, breathing out as you come down. Eye gaze forwards. Keeping that length at the back of the neck, so try not to lift the chin or look up, so we're keeping the spine nice and long. Just 2 more then. Your version of the squat today. Then take a stride, feet are hip width, and we're just taking a bit of a calf stretch. So you can allow the back foot, if you want, just to slightly turn out to the side of the mat if that feels more comfortable. Otherwise, feet parallel, so they're facing, you don't have to turn like me, you can just face me, or you can go feet towards the small edge of the mat. So think about just getting nice and tall, but also putting the weight down through that back heel, so you're feeling a bit of a calf stretch. And then all we're going to try and do is a bow and arrow. So hold the arms up, shoulder width, and take a bow and arrow. So flex the elbow and open, and then go to the other side. Now, because we're in a stride, one side's going to feel easier than the other in your bow and arrow. And you can kind of scrunch up the fists there, make a bit of tension in the arms, look to the side. Then you can kind of go a bit freer, you could open out. And one side's a little bit more tricky because you're going into a twist, and the other side's a little bit more of a chest opener. So you can just explore into that twist, explore into your chest open, but try not to allow the hips to kind of really open with that. So just kind of work with the chest. One more. Then staying in your stride for the scapular set, the normal exercise we do, elbows tucked in, shoulder squeezes. Just checking in with that move because I don't know if I did it last week. Try not to drop the wrists. Then arms lift up and just lift the back leg off, and you might want to point toes. I just want to see if you can find lots of length at the hip flexors at the front of the hip. Soften the front knee that's on the balance if you want more. Gently bring the hands down, squeeze in the glutes, and just reach and get lots of length here in the spine. So either reaching forwards or maybe reaching up. Take a big deep breath. And then release. Then we do those 3 on the other side. So first find your stride. Put the weight down through that back heel. Kind of almost just go a little bit like you're in sinky sand not the River Severn, that's not a good visualization. Maybe just in a nice beach. And you've just gone into the sea and the sand slightly sinks. So hopefully you got your feet facing forwards. You could maybe let the back foot turn slightly out. So the first one was the bow and arrow. So lift the arms up level with shoulders, shoulders relax down away from ears, and then again go into your bow and arrow. Start with the control, just flexing in the elbow, a little bit of work into the chest. 4 of them, and then you can start opening out, work a little bit more into a twist. Try not to allow the hips to change position, so try and keep the hips still. which is hard when you go against the body into the twist. You can look to the side in there. Still feeling that maybe a little bit of a gentle calf stretch on the back leg. Then shoulders down and back for of the scapular set. Now be aware of the lower back, so just tuck the pelvis under. So check you're not arching in the lower back to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then lift the arms up. Just lift that back leg off. Feel a stretch on the front, but also you're squeezing your glutes. Either looking forwards, and then, or you could add in a bit more on balance. Take the arms forwards. Lift up that back leg. Keep working, squeezing with the glutes. Take a deep breath, whichever version you're with. And recenter, and then we'll come to the center with a twist. So soften knees and allow the upper body just to relax, shoulders relaxed, looking round. You could maybe go to bending in the elbows and then release kind of a little bit more as you go around. Keep that 50% pull in on the core. Okay, get a little bit of shape. So let's go to a slow roll down. Chin into chest, soften knees, slide hands down. Now instead of thinking about a hamstring stretch, think about chest going towards your thighs. So for me that means bending my knees deeply. It might be different for different people. Then interlink the fingers, take a shoulder squeeze. See if you can just send your hands up towards the ceiling, and then dip your chin down into your chest. Then, if it feels comfortable, a little bit of a swaying side to side with the shoulders. Again, you're thinking chest towards thighs, not a hamstring stretch here. It's more of a lower back release and a bit of a shoulder stretch. And all the blood's going to go to our brain. Then center, release the hands, let them kind of float down towards the mat, then slowly uncurl. Vertebrae by vertebrae, finishing with that chin and the shoulders. Then take a really wide stance. Gently kind of bring the toes towards the middle of the mat, just so that it's a little bit the knees point into the center. Then the same thing, chin to chest, slide the hands down the legs, come down, bend the knees. Again, think about the chin coming down towards the chest. And then again, you can just take a swaying side to side. See if you can look behind you. And keep the knees really soft. You might bend one knee a bit more as you go over to that side. Again, it's just exploring your edge. So it doesn't have to be kind of taking it to any point of pain. It's just going to the edge and have a little look at the view and then stepping away to the other side. Then slowly uncurl again, finish with the shoulders, finish with the chin, come up to center. A little bit of balance then. So last week I put you on the midline, didn't I? So we'll explore a little bit across. So we'll do an eagle. So if you cross one leg across, now you could lift that and just tuck it round, or you could place your big toe down. So if you've got your right leg wrapped, then take your left arm underneath. So it's just opposite, that's all. But don't panic, it just might help you switch it around. So you're working into a little bit of a balance, shoulders down away from ears. Now to challenge this balance in this eagle wrap, all you can do here is lift up the elbows, then change your eye gaze. So then start looking up towards your fingertips. That's what it'll look like. You lift the chin, you look to the fingertips, it will challenge all that balance. Unwrap, and then on the same balancing foot, 5 heel lifts, just checking in, maintaining ankle strength. Find pelvic floor, squeeze glutes. And then we'll go to the other side. So take your wrap, find your balance, perhaps use your big toe as a bit of an anchor, your pelvic floor. Then it's the opposite hand to the one that you've wrapped. Take it under to your eagle arms. Then to challenge the shoulder stretch, you just start lifting up the elbows. You might think about challenging the balance, and then you take the eye gaze up towards the fingertips, slightly lifting on the chin. Just taking a deep breath here. Release, and then go to your 5 heel lifts. And try and get those connections, the foot to the pelvic floor, the glute squeeze. Okay, nice. Let's go down onto the mat then. So meet me in a downward dog or a puppy dog. Oh boy, I'm going to take my jumper off because I've realised the heating's on. Feet hip width apart, and the same kind of idea as your forward fold is think about sending your chest towards your thighs. So that might mean having really bent knees in a downward dog to create that nice straight line from the hands going up to the shoulders, up to the hips. We don't really want to be in that position, so think about this stretch on the backs of the shoulders. So if you are a little bit tight in the legs, you might want to walk through, pedal one heel down and then the other. Just check you're not holding your breath. So perhaps walking through. Last week we did a little bit of a twist on this one. I'm going to give you a different twist today. Bring one knee towards your nose and then lift that up, bending in the knee. Then just swivel and turn the hips to the side. So you're kind of opening and then come back to centre. And you could literally pedal through again a couple of times, bend the knee to the nose, and you could shift forwards if you want to challenge upper body here. Then go back to dog, then left, then that little bit of an opening on the hips, recenter, and you go to the other side. But have a little pedal through, so don't rush through this. Pedal through, knee to nose, and you can shift that forwards to a front plank if you want, then lift, bit of an opening, and then recentering, pedal through. When you do your hip opening, think about your shoulders, this is going to be tricky now. Try and keep your shoulders square to the mat, and that's when we're going to get the hip work, because the shoulders will want to twist and turn as well. Just one more on each side then. Pedal through, knee to nose, extend, put a little bit of a twist in. Okay, so from there, come down into, we're going to go to our front plank. So come down, elbows underneath your shoulders. So I'm going to go straight through into this. So just if you're tired, you could always bring the hips down. Otherwise, straight in, lift up hips, pull in pelvic floor, pull in TBA if you want more. Straighten the legs. Try not to arch in the lower back, so engage with the core, tuck the pelvis under, or you might be in this position, knees down. Think about the length at the back of the neck, crown of head in line with the spine. shoulders down away from ears. And we're just holding. Could go with a bit of stillness. Do you remember Hakini mantra from last week? You could try putting this into your front pull if you want. All the fingertips touch and the thumb, making kind of a little bit of a geodome with your hands. That would be to focus the mind. Harness the power of the mind. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a little rest to bring it down. The next one we'll do, I think we did it last week, spin to the side with a bit of a chest stretch. So hips lifted, engage the core. If you want that option, straighten the legs. Otherwise, spin over to the side and then think about just taking a little bit of a stretch on the chest. So reach one hand up to the ceiling and then center. And then again, reach up. You could add in a little leg lift there if you want to challenge your balance. So you might have your legs straight. Luckily I had a wall then. And then centering. And then lifting. Quite nice as well on the full plank version with your legs straight. You get a really good stretch on the arches of the feet. Just take your time, no rush as you go through. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a little rest. Last one, we'll just do 8 and we'll do low plank, lift to high plank. I did it last week, but I just think it's a really good one. Shoulder stability and shoulder strength. So same thing, tuck pelvis under, engage with the core. Your option, you could be in legs straight or knees down. Push up into your high plank. Now watch that lower back isn't arching and then bring it down. Just focusing on the front of the mat. Notice if you always push through with the same hand each time, you might want to switch it, alternate, or do 4 like that, and then 4 pushing with the other hand first. Again, just watching that lower back, try not to let the lower back arch. Keep coming back to the core. I've got 2 left, I don't know how anyone else is getting on. Try not to let the head drop, so keep that crown of head in line with spine. Once you've done that last one, we'll come up to a cat stretch then. Chin into chest. So this is a little technique I've learned off my yoga retreat this weekend, is just tap the feet. And the neighbour's probably like, what is going on? Just little taps on the fronts of the feet, chin to chest, find your cat stretch. Then release, bring the chest forwards, go to your upward cat or cow. So it's spine mobility where I look forwards. Then again, up into your cat and again, tapping the feet. Tuck the pelvis under. One more, upward cat, look forwards. Bring the chest forwards, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Last time, little taps. It's actually really satisfying, isn't it? Okay, from there then, let's go into some Superman. I won't spend ages on this, but so extend one leg. Hips are nice and still, pelvis tucked under, cores in. Then bend in the knee and straighten. So we're going to just do 8 of these. Bend and then straighten with control. Adding in, if you want then, opposite arm, kind of a flex in the elbow, almost like a bow and arrow, and when you bend in the knee and then straighten everything out. So it is a little bit like a Superman flying position. We're focusing on the core, keep super still in the hips. If you want more, When you bend in the elbow, open and see if you can touch the heels and then straighten out. So there's a little bit of a touch back if you want it. Quite intense because we're doing full 8 on one side. Then once you've done that, you can release. We'll go to the other side. Same thing, straighten one leg. Maybe reset the core again and tuck the pelvis under, check you're not arching in the lower back. Then just start with the little bend to straighten, keep the control, squeezing the glutes. Try not to look down through the body towards the legs, so look to the front of the mat. Then maybe you're adding in the extensions. Bend in the elbow to extend. And then maybe if you liked it, you got those reach backs. And then extend. Two more. Breathing out into the extension. And release, we'll do a low lunge. So just step forwards. Do you remember last week we did lizard into twist? So we can do the same one here. So opposite hand with the opposite foot forwards and then reaching up into a bit of a chest stretch. A couple of deep breaths. Try and just breathe through that. Then come up to center, we'll swap legs. Check your hip width, you're not on a balance beam. Find your low lunge, tuck your pelvis under, pull in the core. Opposite hand to that foot forwards. Then just find some kind of action of the hand up to the ceiling, chest stretch. Okay, so from there, come right down onto your front. Find a Sphinx position, so elbows underneath your shoulders. Then engage the core, pelvic floor, TVA. Now, Sphinx might be enough. You might want to stick with that. You could work at pushing the toes to the edge of the mat and lift the kneecaps. So you can think here about length kind of coming from the feet, coming up the legs. Kneecaps are lifted and we're getting this length in the spine. If you want a little bit more, let the kneecaps down and then find your cobras. Then you get a little bit more of an abdominal stretch. Try and keep your shoulders down away from your ears. And a couple of breaths here in cobra. Then lowering down. Bring your forehead down onto the mat, eye gaze down, interlink your fingers. Breathing out, take one back extension, shoulders squeeze. Breathing in, bring your hands to cactus. Breathing out, lift yourself up here in cactus. If that's too much, hands down. Breathing out, lower. And then the last one, reach the arms forwards, then if you can, face the palms towards each other and just see if you can lift. And then lower, and then we go again. So it's a shoulder squeeze, eye gaze down, shoulders down away from ears, to a cactus, engage the core, again eye gaze down, to full lift, reach the arms forwards, palms facing, and release. Each time you do it, breathe out as you do your lift, your extension. If you want more, you could add in one leg lifts and then the other leg lifts and then release. And you could switch that over. One leg lifts, other leg lifts, and then release. Two more times through if you can. If it's a little bit much, find yourself a child's pose and just have a rest. And we'll meet you there in a minute. Breathing out for these extensions. If you've added those leg lifts, you'll really notice the lower back engaging as well. And the glutes getting a squeeze. I'm on my last time through. Think about reaching those toes towards the end of the mat, engaging the core. Once you've gone through, find your child's pose. Sit back onto your heels. If you want a little bit, if child's pose doesn't suit you, you could go puppy dog. So your choice. Let's take a little foot massage here. So you could just hold on to the feet and just take a little bit of a squeeze on the heels. Quite nice to get to sort of the outside edges of the feet in this position. I think last week we were doing butterfly and we couldn't quite get the squeezing on the insides of the feet. Just taking a line on the outside of the feet and then on the inside, little pressure points. Take some deep breaths. Send the breath to the lower back. So from that, pick a side. How we do for time? Good. Taking all my layers off. That would be one way of getting more YouTube followers, wouldn't it? Okay, pick a side. Slight variation on the clown. Bend the knees, heels level with hips and shoulders. These front knees in line with the elbow. Then engage the core. Pelvic floor and TBA. Go for 5. Standard clown practice, what we've been doing each week. Try and keep the hips still. We're not opening there in the hip. We're going for the glute med. Engage with the core. Then on the 5th one, hold your knee up and squeeze in the glute. Then at that point, a bit like we did in Superman, bend to straighten. Try and keep the knee lifted. It's going to want to kind of drop here. Keep engaging with the core, keep the control. Can be a bit wobbly, this one. 5 of them. Then hold, then small circles. Keep breathing. The other foot stays lifted. Like the size of a grapefruit here. This isn't huge circles. Then the other way around. You're probably feeling that now around kind of the glute med. Your bum. That's the sound of your bum. Keep the control really slow. And then release that down. Then get nice and long. Get nice and long with the front of the mat. Double leg lift. Now you go straight up both legs, or if you like the lift action, go with that. Rib cage, so just test the balance there. Then all we're going to do is release that down, lie onto our back and see if we can go chin into chest and then come up either like a rocking position or maybe teasers. So your choice, or maybe half teasers. Then it comes down to the side. So it's kind of a complete move. It's a lift, it's coming down, chin wraps into chest. Then you lift up. Your choice of your lift. And then come down. We're just going to do 2 more. Left, ribcage lifted, roll, and coming up. If you're on those teasers, think about lifting up the chest, shoulders down and back, and then lift, and then up. So it's a bit more of a movement type one. Then the side then, we'll do 4 of these, done this every week. So go to mermaid position, top knee lifts up to ceiling, interlink the feet, you might have to shimmy your hand away, breathing out into your side then lifts, frog jumping into lily ponds, strengthening all this natural part of our shoulder. Release it. We'll go those three on the other side then. So find your way around. Bending the knees, heels in line with hips and shoulders, engage with the core. 5 of the normal clams we do. Maybe hand on hip or hand on core. Also nice stretch for here for the neck. Then knee stays lifted, then it's straight and bent. Keep the control. So if you can put that foot exactly into that same position it was in next to the other foot. So you can breathe out as the leg straightens. Breathe in as it bends. Last one. And then you stay extended and just take some grapefruits. And we brought loads of grapefruits because we thought, oh yeah, all these yoga people, they're going to eat grapefruits. And so we've got like loads of grapefruits left. So me and Mum are literally just eating grapefruits all the time. Other way around. Which isn't a bad thing. Nice and slow on these circles. And release it down. Get nice and straight. Double leg lift, roll, some kind of teaser shape. Or you could even bend these feet on the ground and then kind of hold onto your knees and lift up. There is an option in there. So, you know, kind of a version on the roll down really. It all comes from what happening with the head as well. So think about that chin coming into the chest. Have a moment in teaser if you want to get your position in there. Your chest lifted, your shoulders down. Length there in the spine. Nice, then it's up on mermaids. Then that top leg lifts, interlink the feet. And then it's that synchronized swimming side dive into the pool. I used to love doing that as a kid. When the lifeguard wasn't watching. Breathing out, lift, extend. Strengthening the wrists as well, this one. Okay, nice. Let's go on to backs then. Shoulders relax, find some length at the back of the neck. If you're a little bit tight in your neck, you could always put a cushion under your head. We don't want the chin lifting up. Maybe take a little pelvic tilt just to reset. You want to find some kind of imprint here now. So pelvic floor in TVA, and that lower back has got that some kind of imprint going into the mat. Maybe the same amount if you were doing a really nice mono print. Does anyone do any printing? And you want to take it out at the end. You don't want so much print that you've got black ink everywhere, but you want just enough to get your lines. Okay, let's do the pelvic stability exercise. So both arms up to the ceiling. Now imprint your shoulder blades down. So make a bit of an effort there to print them. And then opposite knee drops down to opposite arm. And then recenters. So we're thinking lower back imprint, we're thinking shoulders. We're keeping nice and still in the center where the spine is coming down. We're not allowing the whole body to kind of roll or turn to the side. Maybe you feel like a bit of a groin or an inner thigh stretch as you drop your knee. Last one. So that imprint you're going to keep for the 5 sets. That's the same amount of work we want in that lower back. So 4 toe taps, 8 pulses, and then an 8-second hold. Are we ready? Go straight in. You go on your layer that you know you do. Okay, so 4 and 3. Hips are still here, they're not tilting side to side. 2 and 1. Lift head and shoulders, look to knees, pulse the arms up and down. Try and keep the tummy super still here, they shouldn't be shaking as well. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slide the hands towards the knees. Think about a chest lift here. Not going neck, not going chin, not going neck, lifting chest. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Tabletops if you want more. 3, 2, and 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten legs and reach with the chest. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Here we go. 4 and 3, 2 and 1. We're still imprinting. Hover if you want more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Teasers if you're on the next level. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release and breathe. 4, 3, and 2. We're still imprinting. And 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hold. Try and get some length in the back if you're on a teaser. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Last time. 4 and 3 and 2. Still monoprinting. And 1. Ready to pause. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, and breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Full body stretch. Give everything a bit of a squeeze. Point the toes. Squeeze the glutes. Get your shoulders right up to your ears. Scrunch up your fists. Scrunch up your face. Take a really big deep breath in. Like you're gonna pop. And then just breathing out, let all the muscles go. Turn the feet to the side. Let the shoulders just feel nice and heavy. So bending knees. And just place your fingertips behind your ears, just an ever so light touch. And we're just lifting one leg to tabletop. We did it last week. And then opposite elbow lifts up, effort towards that knee, and then down. And then the same on the other side. Try not to really push your behind your ear, your neck. So you're just ever so lightly touching. Like maybe you were just holding a baby chicken, like a baby chick, and you have to just hold them really, really carefully. They're very delicate in your fingers. Adding in, if you want a little bit more, you just go to the tabletop and you go to single leg stretch. And it's the same thing. If that felt like a bit too much going straight up to there, you could take a heel slide and then keep working with these efforts. So your choice on this one will go 6 more. Remember the baby chicks. Breathing out as you lift. Take a release, hug knees into chest, a bit of a circle or a rock, side to side. So just a little bit of a massage there for the lower back. Then we can go straight into double leg stretch. You might want to put your feet down and just go with arms to start with, or you might want to go straight in Arms down, legs, arms over the body, imprint shoulders down, and bring them back down. You can bring them all the way down and take them all the way over. Just take a check, you've still got that length at the back of the neck, chin slightly dipping into chest. Try not to let the chest flare. Sometimes it wants to lift on these ones. Then you might be adding in, you've got your double leg stretch. So then you just bring in that imprint of the lower back as well. Just breathing out, lengthen. Breathing in as you tuck in. You could just add in pointy toes, that's quite nice. Just to get a little bit of a stretch around the feet and the ankles. Just engages the quads as well if you point your toes, and everything just gets that extra squeeze and lengthen. 3 more, whichever version you're working with, whether you're just working with the arms, imprinting shoulders, engaging core, or you've put in the legs as well. Then feet on the ground, arms out to the sides, breathe out, let both knees drop across to one side. It's that lower back release. Breathing in centre, a bit of engagement on the core, and then over to the other side. Now you could kind of take versions on that, or you might hold a stretch in that, or you could tabletop that, extend out to the corners. Again, you could go with those pointing toes, and then tabletopping. If you do the extended version up to the corners, it's just a little bit more core, and obviously it's a little bit more of a hamstring and IT band stretch. But again, just working with what your body needs. Always working with this chest stretch, the shoulders are nice and heavy. Length at the back of the neck, the chin's not lifting up to the ceiling. Then if we all come into one side and we take the stretch, and I'm going to give you a pretzel here. So what you're going to do, so you're over to one side, both knees over to one side, then you have to shimmy yourself into this position, but you're going to see if you can grab hold of the arm that's on the top, grab hold of the bottom foot, and the arm that's kind of on the bottom, grab the knee. So it's almost like you're making, if you were a bird looking down, it's almost like a figure of 8 here. It's called a pretzel. I was putting you all in knots, aren't I? Done the eagle, that's a bit of a bind. And then this one. What you get, this really nice stretch across the chest on that top arm reaching down. It just pulls that shoulder down towards the foot, which is quite useful for holding, when we hold tension in the shoulders. Then take it all over to the other side, so take your knees over, get a bit comfy, you might have to do some shifting. Then you can just see if you can, you sometimes have to just sort of like reach the shoulder down, reach the arm down, see if you can grab hold of the foot. And when you're in your pretzel, you just think about letting go and using the breath as you breathe out, you exhale. Just sort of surrender. Let the tightness in the muscles just let go. Okay, bring that all back into centre and unravel. Take a quick shoulder bridge then, so bring the feet a little bit closer, you can touch your heels. Pelvic tilt. Treat this just like a massage here, a reset for the lower back. Articulate down through the vertebrae. Then you can feel as well your pelvic floor kind of really engages when you do these massages here as well. You can lift up the hips. Now take a shoulder squeeze, so just interlink the fingers and then just walk the shoulders and and the arms underneath the back. Length at the back of the neck, chin going to chest. Now, have a little play here with the calf muscles. So just lift one heel off and then lower, lift and lower. So it's just kind of a bit of a stretch on the feet. You will feel the calf muscles a little bit. If you want more, both lift and both lower. And just work with about 4, either alternating or both. Into the lift, squeeze the glutes here as well. Keep the hips nicely lifted. Last one. Then release the hands, slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Hug knees into chest. Bit of a rock or a circle. Come up to a seated position. Just take a check on the time. I'm going to try and save a little bit of time at the end for hamstrings. I was thinking we could go actually boomerang. It's such a good one for hamstrings. Let's go for a boomerang roll back. So, let's get myself. You need a bit of space in front and behind. So feet in front, flex the toes, so you almost push the backs of the knees into the mat just to find a little bit of hamstring engagement before we start. Then hug knees into chest. We're going to rock back. Now, I should have said this. If you don't want to roll back, just C-shape the spine to upright. Otherwise, it's rock back. You could take a moment in shoulder stand to get the control, then go over, then crisscross the feet across 4 times, then shoulder stand, then allow that all to roll down, cross the feet and reach for the toes, and you can really pulse into that reach. So it's a roll back like standard. Take a moment to reset for it in the shoulder stand, then over. Crisscross, and this is going to test all those little bits around the hamstrings and glutes. 4 times, shoulder stand, then just allow it to roll. It's all, you want the momentum. And I've just added in that little cross, so cross the feet when you go into your hamstring stretch, and you can pulse as well if you want into that. Couple more times. Each time you do it, you should get a bit further into the hamstrings. Make sure you cross over the legs the other way around. It's one of my favourite rollbacks, really. Such a good release on things. If you didn't touch your toes at the beginning, could you touch them at the end? Maybe. I've got everyone's toes missing, apart from Mario, but I know Mario can touch his toes. Everyone else's toes are missing off their screens. Oh, there's Chris's toes. Okay. Okay. Sitting upright then. Breathing in, reaching up, breathing out, circle, touch the toes. And hopefully that feels a little bit easier after boomerang. Then place the hands down just behind the hips. Back plank and down. Breathing in and lift. Breathing out. Just keep working through. It's a really nice one, the back plank. For glute to hamstring. Strength. Keep the feet flexed. Also triceps, backs of the arms. As you lift, see if you can get the arms around by the ears. Go for a nice big circle as well with the arms. Last one of those. Facing this way then, go to a spine twist. So if you want to grab a block or anything, if you normally grab a block. So cross the legs and then Notice what's happening with the feet. So if your feet completely collapse when you cross your legs, maybe try and flex your feet. So it strengthens the ankles a little bit. So we're not just kind of putting too much pressure on the ankles. So put the flexion there in the ankle, and maybe try the other way around as well, which always feels so uncomfortable, but it's just sometimes good for us, isn't it? To be a little bit uncomfortable. Try and breathe in, get nice and tall, land at the back of the neck. Crown of head goes up to ceiling, palms together. Take a nice big deep breath in. You can feel the belly and then lift it, and then breathing out. Ever so slight twist. Breathing in, get tall. Breathing out for your twist. Adding in, if you want, you could just take the fingertips down, touch the ground, and then come back. So as you're doing your out breath, the fingertips as well, you could put in an ever so slight kind of push, and then lift. Get that little bit more length. Two more. Big bowl of porridge in front. Straighten out the legs, flex the feet. Stirring that porridge. I found this really nice date syrup the other day. I've been putting that in my porridge instead of honey. I mean, I love honey, but yeah, just thought I'd try something different. Last one, breathing out. Feet together, palms together, namaste.